do you think both teams were really good? It's kind of hard because we were talking about it in one of our Patreon hangouts, which you guys should join, by the way. It's $5 a month is all it takes. And we were talking about it, and it was like, well, we wouldn't be surprised if both of these teams went on to win like 9 games, and we also wouldn't be surprised if they both were like 4 win teams at the end of the season. So I wanted to get your thoughts. Is Northwestern that good, or is Nebraska just being Nebraska?
Well, that is the funny part about what you bring up right then, because as football fans who have watched football forever, it's still comparison shopping early in the season, because a couple teams play, and if somebody looks really good, then there's always that thought, well, then they must not be that good. Well, we're going to have to find out. Now let's watch so-and-so play so-and-so in a couple weeks and see if this result is really because they're good or they're not good. And then you just have to continue to add result to result to result to add it up and build a resume. With these two teams, I would be pretty shocked if they went 9-3, yeah. Either one of them. Yeah, I don't see that happening. But I've got a lot of faith and trust in Pat Fitzgerald. I do not think this is an outstanding football team, but I believe after watching today that they are going to have their issues this season, but I see it more as a bowl team than I did before watching this game. But I'm also going to realize that Pat Fitzgerald said a few things that I should have believed. Number one, he said, this is going to be the best offensive line we've had in 17 years.
Wow.
And he also said that, and the defense was awful last year. They were bottom 3 in the country in rush defense last year. And he just said, we are going to surprise people on defense. We are going to be much better.
Yeah, and you kind of saw that. And, you know, obviously they were going up against a Nebraska offense that, I think, you know, there's some talent. You know, they bring in Mark Whipple from Pitt, and you kind of saw, you know, some different things than what they did last year. You know, they were primarily like an option team beforehand, and so you saw more kind of it was closer to what Mark Whipple did at Pitt, and I thought Casey Thompson, for the most part, was not bad, and he was really good in that first half.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and so you just when trying to evaluate whether Northwestern has really made that jump, you know, defensively, is kind of hard because, you know, you're playing against a first-year offensive coordinator, new offense, new quarterback, and so it's this is going to be a very puzzling result. I just, you know, it's going to be one of those games we look back on in week 14, week 15, and it'll all probably make a lot more sense, but. Yeah, it was just it was a fun game though. I wasn't expecting it to be that good.
It was a fun game. Yeah,
I'm kind of mad because I took the under in that it was 52 at kickoff because I felt pretty confident that Northwestern wasn't going to be able to score, and that didn't end up working out. But
most people thought the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm mad at myself because I pretty much had it in my gut that was going to happen. And so I didn't even think about the spread. I took the points. Yeah. But I thought Nebraska is going to win this game. They're just better. They're just more explosive. We saw the two teams last year, and I try to guard against the carryover from season to season, but they're somewhat the same teams. And like I said a few minutes ago, the Northwestern offense is the same backs, the same top receiver, the same 4 offensive linemen out of 5, the same quarterback.
Yep.
They did fortify their front 7 on defense with 4 guys off the transfer portal. So they did help their rush defense immensely. They weren't dominant or anything, but they controlled Nebraska's run game outside of one big run by Anthony Grant, 46-yard touchdown. But I had it in my gut, and I talked myself out of it because about a week ago, I talked myself into it during one of the shows. Nebraska fans were going crazy because they were saying it sounds like Mark's going to pick Northwestern to win. But I was basically saying I heard Pat Fitzgerald during Big Ten Media Days, and I heard Scott Frost, and they were specifically asked about the trip to Ireland. And Scott Frost basically outlined that we're going to be in a boot camp, and we're going to be serious, and this is a business trip, and this is what we're doing. We have to win this game. Pat Fitzgerald was, well, a ton of my guys will never have this experience again. They haven't had this experience to go to Europe. We're going to have fun, da, 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 da. Then a couple days before the game, then we'll lock down, then we'll get focused, then we'll get ready. And it just completely reminded me of a ton of Super Bowl scenarios back in the day. I don't think it happens so much now, but in the first 10 or 15 Super Bowls, it was such a new game that there would always be, almost every year, one coach who was, got to win this game, not letting these guys party, not letting them do anything. We're going to lock it down, da, 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 da. And there was a 2-week break between, of course, the conference championship games and the Super Bowl. And they got burned out, and they were tight. And the other team was like, you know what? For 8 or 9 days, we're going to party, we're going to play loose, we're going to go to practice and all that. But then we're going to wait till about 4 days before the game. Then we're going to lock down. And those guys had, you know, partied themselves out. They were sick of it. They were done. They were ready to focus. They were loose. And that always seemed to be the team that won the game.
Yeah. And, going back to Ryan Holinsky, I was pretty, it's a really nice story. Yeah. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows his story, but it's if you have an opportunity to read up on that, it's pretty heartbreaking, but I was happy for him, even though I'm a Clemson fan, and he was former Gamecock and all that. That was that was really cool to see him have that kind of success.